Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. Let me ask you, who owns the Yeezus brand? Okay, now this is a very good question that they're going to have to figure out with Kanye and Adidas going separate ways. Now, up to this point, it's understood that Kanye owns the patent to the design of the Yeezus, alright? But Adidas actually owns the brand, alright? So Kanye owns the design, Adidas owns the brand of Yeezus. Even the 350, what is it, the Yeezus 350? They own that. Now, here's what Adidas said. They have the right to sell every Adidas shoe that they made with Kanye, except for that foam runner, the Adidas foam runner. This is what Adidas is saying. Now, the question is, when Kanye changed his name to Ye, did that change the contract? Alright? And in what terms was this intellectual property described? Are they going to go back to when he originally signed the deal in 2016? And what was in that actual deal? Was the actual deal of, if early termination, he gets to keep his brand name and the design, or do Adidas keep the brand name but he still owns the design? This is where it's going to take some legal problems. Now, the reason that I want you all to understand this, because the problem was stemming that Kanye decided, hey, I no longer want to do business with Adidas, okay? I no longer want to do business with Balenciaga, okay? So he's under the impression that I'm a brand myself. I can sell all of my products on my own. Now, this is what he was trying to obtain, all right? This is where all this craziness started filming and stuff. So in terms of him going to talk about the Jewish thing or whatever, that Jewish thing or whatever, that's like small, and yes, it's hurtful, and it's very uncomfortable to hear, because it really causes strife in the communities. So I understand a lot of corporate perspective on that, but when it comes to product and brand, who gets to say so? Now, to my understanding, Kanye is not only fighting for his position as a artist, as a brand, he's fighting for the position of other artists and brands to keep from being taken advantage of. Now, he feels that he has been taken advantage of. Now, they did not want to renegotiate, and so Kanye was like, well, no. You know, it was in the media a few months ago where they were talking about relaunching the Adidas and stuff like that, and he was like, no, don't do that or whatever. And that's where a lot of this had started stemming from, him not having control over what he wanted to do with his product, with his brand. But again, the question goes, what part of the product and brand does he actually own? This is where it's going to be the bigger question. What does he actually own? Alright? And most people, they're under the impression, well, if Adidas is no longer working with Kanye, okay, and we came to Adidas because of Kanye, and it's like a cult following, people are like, okay, we're going to boycott Adidas. Alright? So not only will they lose a $500 million plus from his side of selling the Yeezus shoe, then you have other people that are going to start boycotting because they came over to the brand because of Kanye. Now, there's another segment of this about the Donda brand. There's a separate, which Donda brand is about his mother, right? So we're going to just focus on the on this here, because there's something that we need to understand as business owners about intellectual property. Better yet, here's one that you can really understand. If you all remember Famous Amos cookies, okay? Famous Amos cookies, all right, got his shot up in LA and stuff, selling to the movie store, if you all know the story or whatever. And what happened was, Famous Amos, he kept having financial issues, so he ended up selling the brand along with the intellectual property. That's the reason, like, where you used to see the Famous Amos cookies with his face on it, you no longer see that, right? You see Famous Amos, but you will not ever see a Famous Amos with a black face on it, okay? Because he gave up that property. He himself, like he's in Hawaii, Famous Amos was trying to start another cookie company, right? He was on Shark Tank. It was like a few years ago, and they was like, wait a minute, how come you can't use Famous Amos no more? Well, because he sold the name, he sold the brand, he sold the intellectual property of it. So that's the reason he can't associate Famous Amos with any other product he produced. All right, now that understanding that, this is why it becomes a problem, because Kanye figured that, hey, by me separating myself from Adidas, I can sell my Yeezus however I want to. Now, again, if he's able to sell his Adidas the way that he wants to, does that mean that all of the products he produced prior to his separation, he's able to sell those as well? Now, like I said, Adidas said that he cannot sell those products, right? Adidas said he cannot sell those products. The only product he can sell is the foam runner, right? That's what Adidas said. Now, in terms of understanding that 2016 contract, need to understand the intellectual property of it. And this is where it's going to come out in terms of what does Kanye own with the Yeezus brand, okay? We understand he owns the design of it, but he doesn't own the right to the name of the Yeezus brand. Now, will this, if he has the right to sell shoes, will this prevent him from using the Yeezus brand name? This is very important, because this is what he built his brand off of, the Yeezus brand. And granted that he just changed his name to Ye, from Kanye to Ye. So will the Yeezus brand become the new Ye brand? Okay, so this is very important for people to understand, that this goes beyond just what he's saying. It's in terms of what his contract say. Even like when he was trying to get out of his music deals, right? And that, I'm gonna leave that for a different video, so that you all can so I can share my thoughts on that. And so if I'm that way, you all have my perspective and you can actually research it yourself. Because a lot of artists, it's one thing that a lot of artists are not taking advantage of to possibly get out of their legal music contract, okay? And it has to do with the FCC. So I'm going to talk about that in another video. But I definitely wanted to talk to you guys and let me know, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Kanye still has the right to sell the Yeezus brand from this perspective without knowing what's in the contract and what's going on at this point? And if he's able to sell the Yeezus brand, and from the antics of what he's been doing lately, will that affect the sales of him actually selling the Yeezus shoe? All right, so this is Houston with 3-Way Funding. Let's talk about it. Put your comments below. Thank you.